All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
And an essay section, attach a resume and or one recommendation letter, and provide a transcript or proof of enrollment. You can find more information and apply for this scholarship at unitedblackfund.org/TJAY-memorial-scholarship-fund. That again is unitedblackfund.org/TJAY-memorial-scholarship-fund. Or call 216-566-9263. 216-566-9263. The application deadline for the scholarship is March 30th. This message is brought to you by the TJ Timothy L. Tramble Jr. Memorial Scholarship Fund and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
WOVU LP Cleveland.
All right, what's up? This is your girl Rachel Hill, and you are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. And I'm here at Cleveland Kate, and we're going to give you some of the hottest sports talk by women on the radio. So thank you so much for joining us. And we are about to get into it. But today, before we get into it, we have a special guest. So we have Roy Ellis from Roy Ellis Sports, So we got Willie Gibson, and he's with the Roy Ellis Sports on the Voice America Radio Network. Cleveland Kate and Willie, how are you guys doing today?
Hi.
What's good, Rachel? I'm good. How are you?
Right here, baby. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Sorry about that. How you guys doing today?
I'm good.
Good. So we're doing a little something different. We're going through StreamYard today. So normally we don't go live. So Cleveland K, we're live for everybody to see our faces, see how beautiful we are and things like that. So special shout out to the All Sports, All Plays Network for doing that for us. So now our audience can get to see us and see some of the things that we are doing as well. So Willie Gibson, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm well. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, it's good. It's been a minute since I got a chance to see you. You know, obviously the pandemic has changed how we cover sports and changed the attendance and things like that. Things are really limited. So a lot of us find ourselves covering these teams from home and doing the press conferences from home. So it's really good to see you. I missed you. So thank you so much for being here today. And we definitely appreciate you. So guys, let's get into it. So the first topic we have today is trying to figure out, March Madness is going on. So last year we did not have March Madness. So last year was a lot different. You know, COVID changed everything. So now we have March Madness going on. And first question I have for you guys is, what are you guys' thoughts about March Madness and the presentation and things like that, how it's all located in the state of Indiana, in pretty close proximity to each other? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think for me, it's interesting because the NCAA was adamant. We're not professional athletes. We're not going to the bubble format as the NBA has done or did last year to complete their season. And yet here we are in the bubble. They're calling it a confined situation, not a bubble, but semantics being what they are. It's a bubble, and they did what they had to do to ensure, hopefully, that they're able to complete the tournament. We've already had one game canceled or declared a no contest due to COVID contact tracing. But let's cut to what it is. I mean, we all know it's a business. It's $1 billion nonprofit. If that's the biggest oxymoron that I've ever heard, $1 billion nonprofit. But they're doing what they have to do to ensure that they maximize the earning potential that they have. So, not surprised.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that? It's not all confined to Lucas Oil Stadium. I prefer the games to be stacked on top of each other instead of them being away at different locations. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, they, I guess, wanted to make it as a true tournament as possible with the regional, if you will, different sites holding different games. But I mean, again, my thought is just, they did what they had to do, and it's truly been madness this tournament. You've seen number one seeds go down yesterday in Illinois. You saw Cinderella's in Abilene Christian beating Texas, or Roberts beating Ohio State and Florida, advancing to the Sweet 16. So it's truly been madness in the first two rounds of the tournament.
Cleveland Cape, what's your take on
My take is that my brackets are a hot mess. They're a hot mess. I should have just picked every Big Ten team to lose because I've been so disappointed with the conference all year. And my brackets are a hot mess. I have 4 of them, and they're all. I still got my winners, but it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I don't think when I was picking teams, and I think a lot of people made the same mistake I did. I did not consider the ramifications of COVID and the way they have them set up, the way they have the teams sequestered, if you will, the way they've got them playing in the different arenas in Indiana and all that. I didn't take that kind of stuff into consideration. I didn't look at which teams were already used to playing that way. And I think that's going to play a big factor in the bracketing and how resilient these teams are and how well they do. Otherwise it just feels like the normal March Madness. You know what I mean? So many people don't watch college basketball at all until the tournament. And I don't know if those average fans notice anything different. It's just those of us that watch a lot of it that are picking out all of the things that are different and could be having an effect this year versus prior years. But I mean, it's nice to have it. It's better than last March when we didn't have it at all. I mean, for a lot of people listening, a year ago this weekend is when they lost their jobs, when they got sent home, when things started getting shut down, when restaurants and bars and everything started getting closed. And it's nice to sort of still feel like there's something normal in the world right now. So, that's where I'm at.
Well, I'm a little salty because I feel like, if you're going to give them that regional aspect and stuff like that, maybe have some of those games played in the areas surrounding Indiana instead of having it all in one state. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do that, you're not going to put them all, at Lucas Oil Stadium. Just go ahead and have them maybe in the surrounding states of Indiana instead of doing the whole thing in there. I just don't think that's fair.
I don't know what it matters. I don't know what impact that has on the game other than
it doesn't. It's just a Rachel thing.
It's just a Rachel thing, but it was going to be a salty Rachel thing when Ohio State lost. But you knew they were doing. I'm surprised they did that the first round.
You didn't check on me.
You and I both knew when they went on that skid after beating Michigan that there wasn't nothing good coming out of the Big Ten this year, and so it's just going to be salty Rachel for the rest of the tournament.
Well, this is the thing too. So March 12th, I texted everybody, and we talk about this. We've given Ohio State some play. The past few weeks going into this tournament because at one time they were the number 4 team in the nation, looking really good. And since that loss to Michigan, they have not looked the same. So I put March 12th that. March 12th. I put that Ohio State is going to lose in the first round of the tournament. And I wasn't trying to be right. I hated being right. But it was true. Now, Willie is actually based out of Columbus. So, he has the opportunity to be ensconced in Ohio State. So, Willie, can you tell us a little bit about, your observation about what went wrong after that loss to Michigan, or was Ohio State not as good as advertised?
Can I say both? They were. I'll say this: they had a good season, uh, notwithstanding COVID. I mean, they didn't lose any games to COVID. They played above their capabilities in some games. The four games that they lost right before the tournament, they lost to better teams. I mean, lost to Michigan State. They lost to Iowa. They lost to Illinois. They lost to Michigan. So I mean, you had what, two number one seeds, a number two seed, and Michigan State. So I think what it was, they just showed up in Indy not ready to play, and that's what happens in March Madness. And again, March Madness, the madness of March. Win you go on, lose and you go home. They did not show up to play at all. Oral Roberts was hungry. 15 seed, they showed the nation, hey, we're here to play. And Ohio State just never recovered from the beginning of that game. Dwayne Washington, I don't know to this second, the question some of the decisions he made during that game. He's played phenomenal basketball all year long, and some of the things he did on Friday aren't Dwayne Washington typical decisions that he made all year. And Kyle Young, I'll say this: Kyle Young, missing him, senior leadership. Yeah, never take his stats aside. The leadership that I think he brought to that team was truly missed in the Big Ten tournament after he went out, and then also clearly on Friday versus Michigan or versus Oral Roberts rather. So
Sorry, did I go out, guys?
You
you
did, but you're
did.
back.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry about that. So,
We can still have a conversation without you. We're still talking.
thank you so much. But the audience might have heard me talking. So you were just talking. How much do you think I know you mentioned Kyle Young is when I came back on. How hurtful was that though? Because I don't know if I really considered him to be such a impact player per se.
Mhm. It was big, and you're right. He's not on the stat sheet. He's not going to show you his impact. He's not going to show you his value. I mean, he's a senior. He was a senior on that team, 1 or 2, young team. So you lose half of your senior leadership. It's gonna come back to haunt you. Although great player, EJ Liddell, phenomenal player. And I'm sure we'll talk about some of those things later. But you missed your senior. You missed that leader. Some of the things Kyle Young does that don't show up in the stat sheet were truly missed, and I think that hurt more than some may want to admit.
Rachel, you and I talk about veteran presence a lot, and I think this year in the tournament, that's a huge impact for a lot of these teams because there wasn't a tournament last year. So now you have freshmen and sophomores with zero tournament experience really looking to those third and fourth year guys who aren't going to be in the first round of the NBA draft, but they've at least been in a tournament before. They understand the mindset. They understand because they've lived through win or go home. And if you don't have that guy talking to your team, settling them down, helping them with the nerves, just talking them through all of those intangibles that he's right, don't show up on the stat sheet, that's going to have a huge impact. And I think that's what we're seeing already with some of these underdogs winning is that lack of veteran presence on some of these teams that are favored.
Yeah, I don't think, and we were talking about Ohio State before I cut out for a second, and after the Ohio State game, they said 0.15 brackets were accurate after Ohio State left the tournament. So if that goes to show you anything, but Ohio State doesn't have a ton of one and doneers on there or anything like that. I didn't see CJ Walker really as a senior really, contribute as much. This team relied heavily on Dwayne Washington. And at the end, unfortunately, he wasn't able to sink some of those key shots. They had 3 good looks, they went for threes every time and they just missed them. And that was the end of the season. But, Oral Roberts, first of all, I didn't know where they were. I had to Google the school. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to have to go to commercial break really quick.
I can't even with you right now, Rachel.
I didn't know where Siena was either. I had to Google that. Like I didn't know. So we're going to be right back. We're going to go take a quick break. And you are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
I'm still here.
Attention parents and students. The Tramble family and friends encourage you to apply for the TJ Timothy L. Tramble Jr. Memorial Scholarship Fund. This scholarship was established in 2019 in honor of the young man born in 1989 to Latrice and Timothy Tramble Sr., who had a great sense of humor and outlook on life and who used his energy to inspire and motivate everyone he met. This scholarship will award up to $2,500 for 2 to 3 individuals this year and funds available to recent high school graduate and full-time college students ages 18 to 25 who are residents of Cleveland and plan to or currently attend Tri-C, Cleveland State University, Central State University, or any other HBCU. Applicants must have a minimum of 2.2 GPA, demonstrate a financial need, and show that they have provided service within the community. Those who apply will need to complete an application and an essay section, attach a resume and/or one recommendation letter, and provide a transcript or proof of enrollment. You can find more information and apply for the scholarship at unitedblackfund.org/TJAY-memorial-scholarship-fund. That again is unitedblackfund.org/TJAY-memorial-scholarship-fund. Or call 216-566-1963. The application deadline for the scholarship is March 30th. This message is brought to you by the TJ Timothy L. Tramble Jr. Memorial Scholarship Fund and WOAU 90.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burtonsville Park Community Radio Station.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. You're listening to Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And always remember, you can give us a call at 271-0959. You can listen to us online at WOVU.org. And you can also download that WOVU app, and you can take all your favorite personalities on the go and listen to us. So I'm here with Cleveland Kate. Cleveland Kate, how you doing today?
I'm wonderful, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Happy Monday.
Hi.
Happy Monday. Happy
I
spring.
miss you. You doing okay? I know you wasn't feeling good last week. You know I was missing you.
Oh, I was so sick last week.
Yeah, you doing better though?
I'm doing better. Got my first COVID shot on Friday. Got to wait 4 weeks to get my second one so I can be all vaccinated and immunized and safe to travel around.
And that's good because we need you to be okay, Cleveland Kate. You know, there's a draft coming up soon, so we gonna need you to be okay with that.
There is a draft coming to Cleveland, lady.
And we got Willie Gibson in the house with us today. Thank you so much, Willie. And Willie, tell the audience a little bit about yourself right quick. You're based out of Columbus. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
I am based out of Columbus, graduate of the Ohio State University.
Oh, wait.
Indeed. Journalism major. Been working in journalism a little more than 20 years now. I pause to say that when it doesn't feel like it, but it is. Did some things with ESPN. I'm not sure, a show called 2 Minute Drill. Did some things with them a few years back. I've been working out here locally. Did some things with Fox Sports, and for the last 4 years, been working with Voice America, with former Buckeye, former Cleveland Brown as well, Ray Ellis, on the Ray Ellis Sports Show. So a little bit about me.
Yeah, Ray Ellis. So getting back to this tournament really quickly. Did any of y'all get a chance to catch that Gonzaga OU game?
I listened to the end of it. So
Gonzaga, they just look like some dudes that just show up at intramural or whatever. You know, they just, it was impressive, but it's just like it didn't look like the style of to me. It didn't look like, winning basketball was coming from dudes that look like that, like they just show up at an intramural tournament. But Willie, I got a question for you. And the pulse of Columbus. What are the thoughts about Chris Holtman and the coaching job that he did? I wasn't a fan of him not really using Michi Johnson in the game, which he had kind of utilized him, in spurts this year, and also not using Seth Towns until it was like 2 minutes left in the game. And Seth Towns is a highly touted transfer from Harvard. So what are your thoughts about that? I wasn't too impressed.
Yeah, Chris Holtman, I mean, he actually came in here. You got to remember, Thad Matta was here. Thad didn't do anything, to be honest with you. And Holtman was brought here to change the culture. And slowly but surely,
what was
he's
the
doing
culture?
that.
What was the culture?
Well, what happened was Thad Matta was not getting guys. I mean, look at the guys that got out of his city, not his state. It's always told, put the fence up around your state. Roy Williams, Trey Burke. Roy Williams came in and got Sterling Manley. Nigel Hayes from Wisconsin. Thad Matta told his mother, "Your son is not a Big Ten player," and he went to Wisconsin and for 4 years made it his personal business to give Ohio State fits.
And I took that personally.
Oh, without question, without question, and let alone another Wisconsin player, Trayvon Jackson.
Yeah.
You may know his father,
Jim Jackson.
His father's in the rafters at Ohio State. Thad Matta never made a call. Never made a call.
Not one?
Never made a call. Never made a call. So those things cumulatively began to take effect, and Gene Smith began to notice. And I think the Sterling Manley piece is really what did it. When Roy Williams came, Pickerington North kid, 15 minutes from the Schottenstein Center, and Roy Williams came in here from Tobacco Road and took him to North Carolina. Now he's had some injuries and hasn't really panned out, but at the time, for him to lose a highly touted recruit, not in your state but in your city, and that's been the umpteenth time that's happened, people begin to pay attention and notice. And I say that because basketball in some cases can be a placeholder from the bowl game to spring football, and it began to happen habitually and continually, time after time after time, year after year after year, and it just became enough. So now you bring in Chris Holtman, and he's done some things. I mean, he's changed the culture. He's brought some kids in. Now this year he's going to take some criticism because he doesn't have a big, and that's what I think began people to pay attention to what he's doing, or more importantly, what he's not doing. Because Coburn for Illinois gave EJ Liddell is 6'7". He's a phenomenal player. He's not a big. He shouldn't be guarding Kofi Coburn. He shouldn't. And that began to become an issue. And he has to correct that. He's going to have to go out. And I know he's in on a kid from Canada. I can't call his name right now, but he's going to have to get that big. He has some guards coming in. Brandon from Akron, St. Vincent St. Mary. Just won the state championship yesterday in Division II. He's coming. He's going to have to correct that quickly in order to kind of silence some people around here.
Yeah, because they had a lot of transfers on this team this year, but that was one of the glaring things that you saw against Michigan once they got deep in some games. Not having the presence of that big man, it just really didn't help them at all, and it showed. And I guess that Matta, because not only did Dean Smith get tired of Thad Matta, we did too, because it's like he continued to ride that success of the Thad Five, which great season, but they never won anything. So, and they had been graduated, then you turn pro or what have you. But like you said, recruiting was an issue, and Ohio State is that school that can compete in basketball if everything is assembled the correct way, and they just weren't able to do that. So it is what it is. They are done. They lost to Oral Roberts. That kid for Oral Roberts, Aspirins, I mean, it was just one of the things that I noticed. Kate, did you get a chance to watch the game at all?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Oral Roberts did not look like they had any fear against Ohio State at all.
No, and we didn't have any energy. We didn't have any juice. I mean, you and I argued about the big we started arguing about the fact that they don't have a big 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago when they went on that skid. And my, I get the importance of having a big. At the same time, they were winning games for a while there. And then when they got to this point where it just looked like they had no energy in the fourth quarter, they either mentally or physically couldn't hang with anybody. And I don't know how you fix that, if it's conditioning or if having a big in there does something mentally to you to help you get through the whole game. But it's very frustrating to watch. And I saw it again at the end of that Oral Roberts game, just bad decision making, decisions I didn't understand, and just a lack of energy and a lack of focus.
Turnovers killed us too.
Turnovers
down the stretch. So yeah, Kate, you're absolutely right about that too. That energy in Ohio State kind of looked like it appeared they had the attitude, we're going to come back and beat them.
Because they've done that so many times this year.
And that was kind of how they played. We're going to come back and beat this team. And Oral Roberts wasn't having any of it.
Right.
And now they're in the Sweet 16. So, I mean, obviously, do we say that Ohio State was overrated at all?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I mean, they play well, but as you said, at one point they were the number 4 team in the country. And this season really is a outlier. I mean, due to COVID, with some things, but I don't. When I looked at that team, I didn't see a top 5, top 4 team in the country. I saw a good team. I saw a team that could compete. But when I see a top 4 team, I look at Baylor, Gonzaga, Illinois. I never saw Ohio State play to the level of those teams throughout this season. And that's not a negative. They played well. I just don't know that they were a top 4 team. Top 10, top 15, absolutely, but not top 4.
Who do y'all have at winning all? Freddie asks. Who y'all got winning it all?
I got Houston.
Houston,
Wow.
the Cougars.
What can I say? I do like a Cougar.
Wow.
Willie, that's what you get when you come on All Girls Sports Talk.
Yeah.
I see.
We can talk about Cougars.
Yeah.
I get it. Get it.
We normally get it cracking around here, so.
Oh, for sure. You know what? Man, 3 of my Final 4 are out. So what I'll say is, I know, right? I'll say Gonzaga. I'll say it, Gonzaga. This is the year. This is the year they do it.
Because they always do for a choke job. I cannot go with Gonzaga. I cannot, because they always choke. I can't do it.
I want to say Baylor, but Gonzaga. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Something about Baylor, just I don't believe in them.
No.
There's just I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I'm just like, I'm not buying it. Not buying it.
Baylor.
I don't know why.
So
I could be wrong. I'm just not buying it.
What do y'all think about the controversy with the women's amenities compared to the men? I don't know if y'all got a chance to see the food that the women was served, the weight room, or the little stack of weights that they were given that I kind of have at home myself. Yeah. What do y'all think about that? And will anything ever change?
I don't know what to think about that. First of all, I'd like to know why you didn't tell us who you thought was going to win, but you put both of us on the spot. But that's just how Rachel goes.
That part.
I don't know why the women expect anything different. That's how it's always been in sports. It's how it's always going to be. It is what it is. Quit whining and play basketball.
Oh, no, I disagree. As a man, that's horrible. That's horrible to see that. That's absolutely terrible to see.
But it's the reality.
But it doesn't have to be that way, Kate. And that's the thing, because of those, patriarchal, attitudes. These women are just as competitive, if not more, than some of the men. And it's about equal opportunity because, we could shut up. But, if we shut up, we wouldn't have been able to vote. If Black people shut up, we wouldn't have had civil rights. So things do need to change with the times. And, women's athletics, yes, it is not the money draw that it is with men, but they should be respected and receive equal opportunity. And just, I'm looking at men and them serving them steaks, and the women, I couldn't even make out what they were serving to the women. I have no idea what it was. I could make out vegetables and rice, but the men had steak, they had shrimp. It was a decent spread. And, we have to, fight for equality for all, not just, the races, but women as well.
And the thing about it, they had the equipment waiting for the Sweet 16. That's the part I don't understand. You had the equipment. You said you were going to set it up started with the Sweet 16. Why not with the 64? Well, what's the differentiation? Why you wait till some? You said you didn't have the room. Well, we saw the video of the young lady from Oregon, and kudos to her, Sedona Prince, I believe her name is, for being upfront and calling it out. Because if she doesn't call it out, who knows if things even change?
Because if
So,
it was
so
me, I'd be mad too.
without question, you should be. They should be. They should be. And Dawn Staley, I'm not sure if you saw her letter
Yeah, I did.
that she wrote. Yeah, I mean, she just won her 500th game as a coach. And in 2021 to still be calling those things out is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Willie, you gonna stay with us a little longer? We're gonna go to break right quick. You gonna stay with us a little longer?
Why not? Absolutely.
All right, appreciate you. We're gonna be right back. This is Her and the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with Cleveland Kate and Willie Gibson of Ray Davis Sports Network. And super excited to have you here, Willie, because I like getting this Columbus sports perspective from you. So one of the things that I wanted to move into really quickly is about the Cleveland Cavaliers. You guys don't have a basketball team down there. But, you know, the Cleveland Cavaliers, you guys in Columbus follow them. What are your thoughts about what is going on with this team right now? And then I want to ask you guys' opinion about what's going on with Andre Drummond and the possible trade to the Dallas Mavericks. So, Willie, what is the pulse down there in Columbus regarding the Cleveland Cavaliers and what's going on with them right now?
Who? No.
Oh, that's cold.
That's fair. That's very
Yeah,
fair.
I mean in Columbus. You said in Columbus. I would ask you the question: what is going on? Because I don't know. I like to think I know, but as far as professional basketball, and the reason why you said Columbus doesn't have a basketball team is it's all. I mean, we just talked about it. Ohio State basketball is a placeholder from the end of the bowl game to spring football. So a professional team won't have that cachet. I mean, we have the Blue Jackets here, National Hockey League team. They don't carry the cachet of Ohio State. I mean, if you look on Saturday during football season, a hockey game versus a football game, or even a basketball game versus a hockey game is it's no comparison. So Ohio State is an entity in and of itself. So it's not pretty much anything that's going to supersede that. But as far as the Cavs, I like to know what they're doing because I mean, you and I talked previously the whole KPJ thing. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, you work it out. You figure you knew he had issues. You got him at 30.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he was there at the end of the first round, and so for you to jump off ship, a year and a half into his tenure and go to Houston, send him to Houston for a bag of rocks essentially, and for him
Flaming
to
hot Cheetos and a Tahitian treat.
3
that
magic beans.
right, a pack of annihilators, right? That part.
Which kind though? Because strawberry watermelon, I might be a taker on those.
Yeah, apple. Apple. How
Apple.
about that?
Always
Apple's
apple.
delicious. Yeah, just no
Right.
bananas. Just no banana flavor now later.
Exactly. So and now you see what
Hater.
you see what he's doing. You see what he's doing in Houston. It's like I don't get it. So what are they doing? What I mean, they won last night. I get it. They beat Boston the couple of games before that. But what's the end game?
You asking us in Cleveland? Oh, I forgot
Please.
I forgot before I get in that. Kate did get on me about not giving my prediction. It was because I was scared to say it, and I don't want to say it, and I don't want to be beat up for it. At this point, and DJ Chris Styles, I don't know if he's listening, but I guess I just feel like possibly that the team that could win it all, but they're always good for a choke job too, is that team that's up there, away from us. But I don't know. I mean, I had my bracket was Ohio versus everybody. I don't do one out. Me and Kate, we discuss this every year. Oh my God, are you taking down the flag? Kate, leave that up there. I know. I'm sorry. Okay, she fixing it up there. It's just Gonzaga is always good for a choke. I don't believe that they're the real deal, and them being the number one overall seed. I don't know. Can they withstand the pressure? I just don't know. Baylor, I ain't a fan of Baylor because of what happened with Patrick Denny them years ago, and was it Art Bayless or whatever? What was his name? Art Briles?
Dave Bliss.
Yeah.
Dave Bliss.
I was not a fan of what happened and that cover up and stuff like that. So I could not root for Baylor. I will never forget that. And Illinois went down. You see that Ohio State, they had given Ohio State fits, and Ohio State could not, they beat them one time, but in the Big Ten tournament, they just struggled against the team. So, I hate to say them, but they might choke as well. So
they lose tonight. They lose tonight to LSU.
At this point, and you know what? That's a good one. That possibly could happen. But at this point, I think it's a toss-up, quite honestly. It's a toss-up. So I don't know, Kate. I'm sorry. I don't know.
All right.
But back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I went off when I wasn't supposed to. Yeah, it's hard for us, Willie, to be able to see the big picture because we just don't know right now. And it's just, the Kevin Love situation, is he ever going to play and contribute? And, I've been asked, well, what's the deal with Kevin Love? And I'm like, the only news I know right now is he getting married, and that's it. He's out for a couple months and then comes back in and goes right back out. So, that's supposed to be a leader on your floor that you get no production from. You got Andre Drummond sitting with anticipation of trading him. You got Colin Sexton, but Colin, has a tendency to turn the ball over, at the end of games. So, I don't really know. And since there's 10 seeds going into the playoffs, this Cavs team might be able to sneak in there. I don't know, but we really is Kate. Kate, I'm just saying, I don't know. If they get hot at the right time, it's always a possibility. I'm not saying I want them to make it.
So here's the frustrating thing for me, right? Is when we needed a new head coach and we brought in John Beilein, but we had JB Bickerstaff on the staff, and it was like he's holding place for him until JB's ready, and apparently he couldn't even make it a whole year because he had to quit and they let JB take over. So it's not like the head coach is someone they just brought in from nowhere. He's been with this organization for a while. What's the plan? I get that last year was COVID and the season was cut short and there was no tournament. Your draft was a nightmare, but what is your plan for building this team? Because it can't be bringing back Kevin Love and signing Delly and doing what they did this year. That's not a good plan. And I could understand it and excuse it if you had brought in some guy off the street and we're doing a whole new thing. But there was supposed to be more consistency because you promoted from within, and I'm not seeing it. I feel like whatever the game plan is for what they want this team to look like, they clearly don't have the talent to do that. And again, that's what I see when I bring a brand new head coach in, not when I promote someone up from who knows what our talent is. And so it's just very confusing to me that we're in this position. And I've been very unhappy with what I've seen from JB so far. And I know that's not fair. And I expect better from him. And so maybe I'm going to give him a pass on this year and we'll see what happens next year. But Colin Sexton, I loved him when we drafted him. And there have been points in the season this year and last year when I loved what he was doing, but he's missing something. He's missing another person on the floor that makes him play better, because he's not, to me, the kind of guy that elevates everyone around him. He's the kind of guy that is elevated by someone else. And they don't have that guy on the team that's going to elevate him to where he can be. And I don't know where they're going to find that guy.
They had him. They just got rid of him.
Well, yeah, I don't understand that either.
I think they played KPJ.
Maybe I just been a football fan too long, because we put up with Josh Gordon for how long and didn't get nothing out of him. We couldn't have found some way. Rachel, you and I offered to come in and do some therapy with KPJ and help him get through his issues and work through some things, and we should have kept him. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to jinx him. I hope he does well in Houston, and I hope his problems are behind him, and maybe that system will be better for him than the one is here. But we miss him. I miss him every time I watch him play, and it just makes me sad. Mm-hmm. It just makes me sad. I like good basketball. Even if they don't win, I at least enjoy watching good basketball, and I have not seen that. Even when they win, I'm still not seeing good basketball. It's not passing my eye test.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be seeing good basketball for the next couple years. So you probably won't be watching, and it won't be passing the eye test because it's kind of atrocious.
In a very real way, they're one player away from good basketball. They just have to find that right player. And clearly it's not my job to find that player. It's Kobe Altman's job. And if they could find the right player, I think this team would be so much better than it is now. But that's the problem, right? Is there's only one LeBron and he's already gone. Who are we going to find? It doesn't have to be the next LeBron, but it needs to at least be somebody who's willing to share the ball, who can quarterback. There I go with my football words again, who can quarterback from the floor, I don't know. I think they're closer than they look, but you have to have the right player. You don't get the right player, and then they're going to take 3 steps back. Excuse me, 3 steps back. So that's just me. I'm a football girl.
Who was it? Fran Fraschilla that said he's 2 years away from being 2 years away?
Yes.
Who said that?
Fran Fraschilla. Yeah. It was a draft a couple years back. So the player was 2 years away from being 2 years away. And that's what I think about when I look at this team. They're 2 years away from being 2 years away.
Yeah. How old's LeBron? How old's Bronny?
Right. He's a sophomore. He's a sophomore.
So 4 years away from Bronny? Is that what you're telling me?
You said that. I didn't say that. You said that.
But Rachel says that all the time.
Everything has to align, though, with the draft. And the way that the NBA does their draft is just the messed up, most possible way. So it's always a gamble. And, we're never going to get 3 number 1 picks in 4 years ever again. God just was like, I'm done. It's not going to happen. So, that means our scouting department has to be great. But the NBA has to change the way that they do, the draft. And it's not beneficial, because it's hard for, you to be teams that are just as bad as one that does land that lottery pick to get better as well without a true system to do it. So,
and that's Rachel, that's fair. But then I look at teams like Golden State and what they managed to put together with a bunch of guys that they drafted, because they drafted smart and they drafted the right players. And clearly their scouting department knew what they were doing. You don't have to have the number 1 pick to win it all. We had to, because apparently that's the only way we can get good draft picks is by taking the no-brainer. Even Kate would have picked the guy at number 1 pick. But I'm just, there needs to be some serious improvement in the scouting department and in what they're looking for and what they're trying to build if they're going to do anything here in Cleveland.
Fire them all.
What?
Fire them all.
Wow.
That's my answer. So we got to take another break. Will you go hang with us for this last segment?
Absolutely.
All right. So when we come back, we haven't
scared him away yet, Rach.
I know. Willie loves me. So, So we will be right back. We're
Is
going to
that
take
right?
this break. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
So what's the trade to Dallas? I saw it, but what are they getting back for Dre? Oh,
Hmm?
Rachel, can you hear me? I guess
Did she mute us?
I think
I've
so.
never been on StreamYard. I don't know if we can see if they're still hearing us jibber jabber while we're on a commercial break. I think they are.
Oh,
Hi,
I was just asking.
listeners.
Yeah, I was just asking what the deal was for Dre from Dallas.
I don't know.
I saw something, but I didn't know what they were offered, what Cuban was offering.
I'm not seeing any details. It looks like there hasn't been an actual offer made. It's just
Mm,
rumored that they're one of the teams interested in the Cavs want a second round pick. They ought to want more than that.
right.
I mean, in the NFL, the second round pick is sweet, but not in the NBA draft.
No, not at all. We'll see by Thursday.
All right, welcome back to Her and the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, and we are in our final segment. And I'm here with Cleveland Kate and Willie Gibson from the Roy Davis Sports Network down there in Columbus. So thank you so much for joining us, Willie. We appreciate it. Normally I ask for 15 minutes to 30 minutes, but you're giving us a full hour, so we definitely appreciate you hanging in the huddle with us. And I had a couple things slated for today. But one of the things I wanted to really get to is one of the things that's so first of all, we're going to touch really quickly into the moves that the Browns have made so far. And then I want to talk about the situation going on with Deshaun Watson because it's kind of blowing up right now. So thoughts on what the Browns are doing right now in free agency. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What are you guys' thoughts about that?
I got thumbs up. I'm good.
Kate,
I got Taka Tacky Taka Tack dude. Because I don't have enough guys named that I can call Taki on my team. I got a new safety. I got some help on the defense. I'm good. I'm happy with everything so far. Nothing too expensive. Nothing I don't think I wouldn't say too flashy. Mm-hmm. Just good, solid players mm-hmm. that fill needs that we have. Mm-hmm. I'm so curious to see what they do in the draft this year. So I'm waiting it out for there. But right now I'm good.
Yeah, I think so too. And Willie, what are your thoughts?
I like the Anthony Weaver signing. Okay. Or not Anthony. Is it Anthony Weaver, the linebacker from Indianapolis?
I don't want to lose y'all.
I think I missed his name, but the linebacker from Indianapolis that they signed, I believe it's Anthony Weaver. But I like that. I like that. Linebacker clearly is a need that this team has, and they went out and they fulfilled a need. Anthony Walker. I apologize. Anthony Walker, okay. The linebacker from Indianapolis. And then did they also sign Malik Jackson? Did I see that? The defensive lineman. Malik Jackson they also signed. So I think those
Yep. So
are meeting
I'll
needs.
I'll read them down for you.
Okay.
John Johnson, safety. Troy
Yep.
Hill, cornerback. Takaris McKinley, defensive end. Troy Hill. I don't know. What is that? Cornerback, I think.
He's a corner.
Anthony Walker, linebacker. Malik Jackson, defensive tackle.
I like the Malik. I definitely like the defensive tackle signing. Tack McKinley. I mean, he's a young kid. You know, if you can get something, you know, he had some issues previously in Atlanta. I believe he failed a physical last year in San Francisco. Wasn't able to be signed there. So that's value. 1 year deal that if you can get good production from him. But John Johnson. I mean that's a great signing. What 25, 26 years old, young safety, a position of need, and that can grow with your defense. So, you bring in players like that, and Anthony Walker, Tack McKinley. If those guys can gel with Denzel Ward, a healthy Greedy Williams, you see when he comes back.
Your lips to God's ears. I need Greedy Williams back. I need Greedy Williams back because I have a feeling that when Denzel gets to the end of his rookie contract, they're not going to pay him what he's going to want. He's going to be gone.
You think so?
Yeah, wow. And keep Greedy an extra year or two.
So what was the deal with Ogunjobi? I know he went to Cincinnati, but was it a attempt to try to keep him, or is just let him walk?
I don't.
They just let him go.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, and I kind of, one of the things I like more even before they hit the field is that these guys have the right attitude, or they appear to have the right attitude. They appear to want to be here. And that is something that we haven't seen since 1999, because this was a place where people came to get their checks and careers came to die. And that was a common theme amongst the NFL when people came here. But these guys are excited. They're feeling the energy. They're feeling the excitement. They're seeing this organization turn around. They saw them make it to the playoffs, and they could have beat, Kansas City to me. But they saw what could be. Look at Kate smiling. I just feel it in my bones. It didn't happen. We was 2 plays away. Chad Henne, 2 plays away. But
which is exactly why we weren't ready to beat Kansas City.
I didn't even know Chad Henne.
Because we're still 1 or 2 play. 11 wins is a beautiful thing. Don't be afraid. So I'm not arguing with you. We're at a point now where we don't have to keep guys just because they want to be here. Everybody's going to want to be here because we're actually good now. Analytics are going to play a huge part in who they sign and how much money they spend. If they can get somebody close or equal talent at that position for less money, you're going to see them letting people go and bringing new people in. And I think that's what happened with Larry Ogunjobi. And so that's why I think eventually is going to happen with Denzel Ward, is they'll be able to bring someone that they think is close for less money and keep him. Those are different type talent people. I'm not talking about Baker Mayfield or Myles Garrett or anyone that, especially Myles, who is arguably a generational talent at that position. But there's going to be a lot of these guys that we really like that they're going to let go because they're just not going to spend the money on them. They're going to spend in ways that analytically make sense and that are wiser and that give them more options and more cap room to do things in the offseason that I hope we're going to see them do in the next couple weeks and then at the draft.
I have a question. What's the deal with Hollywood? Higgins.
Hollywood Higgins? Well, first of all, he used to be Parma Heights Higgins, but we promoted him to Hollywood last year, and he's doing really well. He's somebody that I don't think they can afford to let go because I think he's a mentally he's on a wavelength with Baker. He provides he's like Baker's whoopee. He's his comfy blanket, and he did a really nice job when OBJ was out. I hope OBJ comes back, but he's still got a little bit of a head case thing going on for me. And he's not as
he'll be fine.
He's not as reliable as I would like him to be. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I don't want him going anywhere. I'm absolutely keeping him. But I just think we need to keep Higgins. He's affordable. He makes sense for the money that he needs to get. And he makes sense from a locker room standpoint and from a Baker Mayfield's whoopee kind of standpoint. So I think he'll be here and he'll be fine. I really like him. I like what he brings to the game and what he brings to the field. I like his work ethic and everything else. So I'm hoping he'll be fine. Keeping my fingers crossed for him. But he's come a long way in the last couple of years.
I'm not a fan of these 1 year deals that they're doing with him. Sign him for a couple of years, and that way we don't have to keep going through this every year. Lock him up
But
3, 4
that's
years.
the way they're running this front office now, and he seems to be able to handle it. Unlike somebody like Njoku who gets his panties all up in a bunch, and you don't love me because you won't give me a multi-year deal, and now I have to complain to the
Leave
fans
David
that you don't
alone.
want to keep me. Go cry somewhere else.
Leave
Go
David
cry
alone.
somewhere else.
But also, too, one of the things I
I'm
wanted to
just
mention
saying.
about Denzel is that also, too, we don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy. So, that long-term contract is something to really think about with his health and his ability to produce. But changing gears really quickly because we only got a couple minutes left.
Wait. Tim Fiedler in the chat room seems to think that OBJ is a mini TO. Apparently, he don't know the same TO I know because OBJ ain't even in the same hemisphere of crazy as TO.
Yeah, nah, he ain't standing on the star of the Cowboys and all
TO's
that
over
stuff.
in Kyrie Irving crazy land. OBJ ain't got there yet.
Hey, but shout out to Kyrie though, because Kyrie did, post something about the disparity between the women and men or whatever. It was like, NCAA, this is how y'all treat y'all queens. So, Kyrie is Kyrie's Kyrie, but sometimes he is a good person. Well, not saying he's a bad person, but he does, use his platform for good things.
Crazy people can be nice. They can have lucid moments. I'm not arguing that.
Did he sage the computer after he typed that?
What are y'all talking about?
Did he sage the computer after he typed?
You have to burn the sage so that the smoke clears the bad juju and all the bad energy away.
So really quickly, Deshaun Watson, what is going to happen with this? To me, I believe women. I am, I've worked with, victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. Just the timing of everything is just kind of unbelievable. What does he rebound from this?
I think he does. I think this
is this a plot.
My personal view, I think this is orchestrated totally by Kyle McNair, Jack Easterby, and the Houston Texans organization. The minute he said, I want to be traded, I don't want to play for you anymore, you violated the loyalty, the trust. All of a sudden, there was 1, 2, now it's 12. They all go to the same attorney, and they're all civil suits.
Who has a suspect background as well.
Who's also the neighbor of Kyle McNair. And they're all civil suits.
I think we're up to 22 now.
22.
I've heard the number's growing.
If this was 1981, I could understand how he could harass 22 women and nobody would know. But in this world of Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and all that other stuff, I am not for a second believing that he somehow managed to harass 22 women and nobody didn't know nothing.
And
I'm just not buying it.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff makes me mad. If he did it, I will apologize and all that kind of stuff. But it makes me furious when a woman comes with allegations that are not true, because it makes it that much harder for the women who really do suffer from this kind of harassment and abuse. And it's just infuriating to me. And I'm just not believing it. I'm not believing it. It's just the timing of it. It's entirely too coincidental. It stinks to high heaven.
Yeah. Willie, want to thank you so much for having you on today. Appreciate you getting in the huddle. You have an open invitation to come back anytime soon. And thank you so much, Cleveland Kate. Appreciate you as always. Looking forward to the next opportunity, and make sure you keep it locked right here for CSE 216. Thank you for listening to Her in the Huddle, and we are out of here.
Bye.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.